verse. Let's see what it really says. Let it to work. I went down to the garden to see what I could find, but I brought a cold scalpel for the architecture of my mind. They told me just to leave. They said don't ask why. But I'm looking for the engine in the middle of the sky. I'm massaging the text till the ghosts start to fade. Applying the rigor in the light of the blade. No more circular blocks, no more holy disguise. Just the natural right before my eyes. Oh, we're dissecting the Lord. We're testing the word. The greatest story that you ever heard. Thank you for your patience. I'm sorry about that. I was having some technical difficulty. I'm gonna play some music, get myself back up. We'll continue from right there. Thank you. Thank you. I'll be right back. Hang with me. I'm gonna play some music and set my stuff back up, and we can get rocking and rolling. Let's do this one. Let's do this one. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm a pseudo killer nigga, and I'm coming for your head. So scammers accountable for the pseudo shit that they spread. Ain't no more running, nigga. I'm pseudos to bed. I'm the boogeyman for these prayers, leaving these streets red. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No frauds, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killers. No flim flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. I'm tired of this talking, nigga, static, running their mouth. Beating just on platforms, always loud and wildin' out. They ain't saying nothing, only begging for some clout. When I step in the rain, nigga, mama say knock you out. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No fraud, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killers, no flip flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killers, pseudo killers. If think you won't smoke, nigga, come and take your shot. It been a long time coming, nigga. Now show us what you got. I ain't trying to be friendly, nigga. Wipe ass off your face. This is war, nigga. Only one way to sin. Say goodbye to net. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No cross, no fake, no fillers. We straight pseudo killer. No flip flammer, hustlers and scammers. We pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. Science is undefeated, nigga, so we never lose. We always well equipped, nigga, armed with all the tools. Always ready for a pseudo, they always tryna pin the rules. PK stumping, go these clowns, got them looking like some fools. Fuck around and find out, nigga, you should've stayed in school. I'm a pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. No frauds, no fake, no sellers. Be straight pseudo killers, no flip flammer, hustlers and scammers. Be pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. Pseudo killer, pseudo killer, pseudo killer. Pseudo killer, pseudo killer. What's your ideology? Seems to be the question round here lately. Every discussion rooted in blackology, fueled by the lack of integrity. Case in point, the so-called strategy, misleading the people. Okay, we back at it, man. Thank you for sticking around. Hit the thumbs up button. Hit the thumbs up button. Like the show. Share the show. So you see, Kosmon Cal's name is in the title. So we got the Oashpe Bible here. You got the Oashpe. Let me share my screen. You got the Oashpe Bible here. And I'm going to drop the link. Kosmon Cal, you said you wanted to do the thing. So here you go. You had a problem with how I addressed your Oashpe Bible, and you're making claims of what the Oashpe Bible can do. So you got your opportunity. Come and tell us where we were wrong, where I was doing some foolish shit, and I didn't know what I was talking about. In the meantime, we're going to go right to the source itself. We're going to go into the Wikipedia. We're going to read a little bit about the Oashpe Bible,
and then we are going to go through the text. We're going to do a little bit of readership today. I don't like to do my presentations that way. That's why I synthesize the information and present you just with the facts. But we can do the readership if necessary. Got Savior with me. Ain't riding shotgun. Oh man, what's wrong? Savior, hit the link again. I don't know if it's my PC or it's the StreamYard acting up. It kicked me out a while ago as well. So hit the link again, and I'm gonna let you back up. There you go. Yeah, Savior. What it do? What it do?
What it do? I just want to. I just, you know, my bad for this morning. I did come in a little on my Wolverine shit. I was on my
No
Wolverine.
problem, man. No problem. You was doing the Savior, and that's all right, Savior. We need like a pit bull, and when you are in pit bull mode, then I'm gonna come back and be a little bit more tamed, right? It's a tag team effect, but the objective is to get that message out and across. Listen, before we go any further, hit the thumbs up button, like the show, share the show, tell a friend to tell a friend that it's Sunday school with the Pseudokillas. We getting it in before we deal with the Oashpe brothers. We got Jose Hawass in the building.
And you know, I've
Black,
been on this for
Black Egypt. Egypt is black.
Put a
Egypt is
doctor
black.
on that, huh? Put a doctor
He
on that, huh?
doesn't know that we already dealt with that subject, and he doesn't know. He really doesn't know, Savior. So he
But
thinks he
this is,
thinks this is he thinks this is new to
Cedric,
the community. Go ahead, my brother.
mark this day down. This is the first time, maybe the last and only time I will agree with you on the topic. I don't like Oashpe either. They're pissing me off. So get it. This might be the only time. So mark that down on the calendar. Brother Jose agrees with Brother Cedric Ortega for once.
and you know, I've been on the Oashpe for a minute. First time I seen it, like I tell people, if I see something that I haven't heard of, I'm going to look into it. Same thing I did with this quantum onlyism. I hadn't heard of it, so I looked into it to get a feeling of what he was talking about. And what I recognized was that it was all abstract thinking, all abstract talking points. When I saw divine mechanics, I was like, hold on. Huh? And right there, I couldn't go any further.
Yeah.
I couldn't go any further.
Let's deal with something. Let me address that off the top.
Hold on, said I'm almost done. When I looked into the Oashpe years ago, I was like, this Oashpe, like, hold on. A book wrote itself, I'm done. A book wrote itself. This is magic. At this point, I was done with that. I was like, hold on, these people tripping.
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do was read a synopsis. I don't need to read the book.
All right. Let me deal with something real quick and get it out of the way. There's been some work done by the community of skeptics and by the pseudo-killers. And nothing we do is random or comes in a vacuum. We need to start setting standards for what we consider scholarship in this modern day and age. We have long since left the arena of philosophers were the standard. Those that sat outside and by means of deductive reasoning and poetic language deduced what was happening in reality. In our modern times, we have a system called science, methodological naturalism. And this is the number one and only way in which coherent information is produced in our modern definition. We have systems in place. There's education processes and there's system in place in which we acquire data and we process that of the natural world. There is no way around the scientific method. Philosophy has its place. It is a thought process. It engages us to think and understand how we are thinking and frame and categorize the way we are thinking. But any concept is going to have to be ran through the epistemic framework in which we quantify and qualify what is known as knowledge. You don't get to make up your stuff. And you know what is so silly? You go to the actual work, what is done. The work is done. You take the work and think that you have the freedom to reinterpret it and make it up, which is the most ridiculous thing. Gravity is what it is. The four fundamental forces are what they are. They operate the way they operate. We are at a point that we have a set of tools and a system in place in which we validate claims. Your book about quantum nowism, quantum twoism, quantum 12ism, it's your claim. And your claim will be tested against the rubric called methodological naturalism. Now, if you start your diatribe by saying your claim, you are putting it in opposition to methodological naturalism. You are saying you're defining a new way in which we acquire information. When the assessment is made of your quote unquote new way, it is the outdated old ways, repackaged. Panpsychism, idealism. Nothing more, nothing less. There's nothing there that warrants discussion, investigation. It is you made up some stuff. Okay. Claims about supernatural, we hear you. Okay. What's your point? We run it through the rubric and it is non sequitur. It doesn't match up. Your attempt to reconstruct, that is something that I think that is what the conscious community actually is, right? The area in which Black people can exercise natural philosophy. We get the opportunity and the arena to just make some stuff up, and we make it up as we go. We are over here, the pseudo killers are grounding our community in methodological naturalism to exactly dissect and detect the flimflammery from early. We know what's flimflammery now. Oh, but you didn't. Why? I'll entertain your idea if you understand that it's purely philosophical and you're rearranging philosophical concepts to fit the narrative that you want to have. Fine. The moment you say you're opposing this thing to methodological naturalism, you hit a brick wall. But there is no more point to go further than that. Now, your claim needs to be dissected by means of methodological naturalism because you posited it within the realm of science now. You're making a scientific claim. You're claiming your methodology can oppose methodological naturalism. Well, based on methodological naturalism being the framework in which we evaluate claims in a modern context, it's going to get evaluated by such and dismissed as easily. There is nothing there. You can think of it, and 20 years thinking of it doesn't make it a new thought. That's why we are grounding our community in philosophy of mind, in the philosophy of science, right? We went through the history of science. We are in a particular epistemic regime. There is no going back. And what you have the opportunity and the room to go and get an education. And once you reach the level of a PhD, in which you are at a point that you are now prepared to contribute new information to our body of knowledge, we accept that. That's a process in and of itself. But your philosophical ideas, you can put that down on paper any day. It doesn't make you a scholar. Like, we need to start to step it up in this community. I am not a scholar. I synthesize scholarship, and I can articulate it rather well. Ground myself in these principles fundamentally as to be able to articulate them objectively and soundly. But there is nothing that I make up. I don't invent anything. It's pointless. It's a waste of energy. Science operates on the frontier of the unknown. We are science communicators. In this environment is not the space where you come to make stuff up and sell people your jargon. We smell cults coming from a mile away. And the number one thing we're going to do is protect our community against any sort of cult-ish behavior, cultish narratives. You're going to see how these so-called Oashpe dudes are in a cult. First of all of them need to call themselves Kosmon based on the cult practice they're in. Samuel, you got anything to add before I go into this bill?
Nah, do you, man? I'm gonna sit back and listen.
All right, I'm gonna share my screen. Let's start to see what this damn Oashpe nonsense is about. I did a presentation. Let's get into it. No, first here. All right. So, a new Bible. Oashpe, a book published in 1882, purporting to contain new revelations from the ambassadors of the angels' host of heaven, prepared and revealed unto man in the name of Jehovah. It was produced by an American dentist, John Balboa Newborn. And he was born in 1828, 1891, who reported to have been automatic writing. Now we went into what it says. Also called psychography is a claim psychic ability allowing a person to produce written words without consciously writing. Practitioners engage in automatic writing by holding a writing instrument and allowing alleged spirits to manipulate the practitioner. Do I need to articulate how pseudo that is? Okay, let's articulate how pseudo that is. It's produced by endometry, right? This is the same mind game that is taking place when you do dowsing rods, or when you play Ouija. All of us have played Ouija at a point in time. We are long past the age of dualism, folks. Although within the colloquial speech and within religious constructs, we think or we assume that there's a thing called soul, spirit. These concepts are outdated. There are no spirits. There is no spirit realm. Dualism is effectively dead. Yes, there are people who argue for it, but we have a world of empiricism. The idea of a spirit comes from a simple phenomena. And look how easy this phenomena is to explain. When you look at anyone else, you see a holistic being. You see the one person. There is no distinguishing the physical person from the essence or spirit of whatever. You see the one person. That's Robert. That's Sheila. That's Joanna. That's Henry. But when you think of yourself, you assume that there's a you that has a body, that there's a you that has hands, that there's a you that is recalling memory. That's an illusion. That's a byproduct of highly sophisticated body management system. It is called self-awareness. And within organisms, within physical organisms, it has varying degrees. We, as human beings, because of our existential crisis and all of these type of things, we are aware of our mortality and thus have produced these concepts, spirits, an essence that lives outside of the being. But as we're going to see, as we continue to the philosophy of minds, these ideas are not grounded in reality. We have neuroscience and clinical psychology that is mapping the mind. And this idea, now we know the causal relationship, but that thing, the redness of red, the image projected in your mental mind isn't a there. It is these neurons interacting. That is what produces that picture. Take a computer. The screen is what you perceive as mind, right? When we see that interface is happening inside your head, that interface. So you have this screen. If you dig inside the computer, all you're going to see is pluses, zeros, and electrons firing without the screen. The computer is still aware of what is being projected on the screen, right? All you see is neurons firing, electro signals, zeros and ones going back and forth because the screen is now off. The screen is this projection you have, but those neurons firing is what is producing or projecting that image, that redness of red, or the picture of the flower that you see when you remember the flower. It's brain activity to make that thing something, okay, there's this mind reading what the brain is doing. So there's a causal relationship, but you see that these are invented problems. They're not real problems. They are attempts to smuggle dualism back into the back door. And in a community where, yes, we're not firmly grounded in philosophy, right? You get these cats trying to play these philosophical mind games with us. No, we are well versed in philosophy. And we are getting better at it because we are working with philosophy of mind. We did philosophy of science. A lot of these concepts overlap. So, no, the game's over. And again, in this modern epistemic regime, you do not have the room and the freedom to just make some nonsense up. Don't forget to hit the like button, fam. Share the show. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Let's go here. Spiritualism is a social religious movement popular in the 19th and early 20th centuries. Y'all remember during the philosophy of science, we got to the Vienna Circle. It was this sort of nonsense that was persistent. Spiritual tapping, and this is the nonsense that these people are trying to bring back into the world. All right, let's read here. It was popular in the 19th and early 20th century, according to which an individual's awareness in a modern jacket, contacted by the living, the afterlife, or spirit world is seen by spiritualists as spiritualists not as a static place, but as one in which spirits continue to interact and evolve. These two beliefs that contact with spirits is possible and that spirits are more advanced than humans leads spiritualists to the belief that spirits are capable of advising the living on moral and ethical issues. Um, is there someone in the audience? I'm getting a sense. Wait, Sabia, don't say anything. Um, I'm getting a someone with an R. Is there someone in the audience that recently passed? Someone passed with an R in the name. I'm getting I'm getting I'm getting the vibes of a middle-aged woman. Is there someone that knows someone's name with an R? A middle-aged woman. She says you're in the audience right now. She recently passed. Complications, health complications, yes. High blood pressure, heart attack. Oh, okay. Okay. She said she recently died of a heart attack. I'm getting an R. I'm getting an R. Is there someone in the audience that is? Just a second. She says the picnic. You must remember the picnic. The picnic. Does any who here is remembering the picnic? Y'all see how I'm doing that dumb shit? This is the nonsense how you keep falling for trying to sell people in 2026. We ain't going for it, bro. Stop the nonsense. Stop the cap. Some spiritualists follow spirit guides. Now we see what kind of nonsense he's talking about, right? Emmanuel Swedenborg has some claim to be the father of spiritualism. The movement developed and reached its largest following in the 1840s to the 1920s, especially in English-speaking countries. It flourished for half a century without canonical texts or formalized organization, attaining cohesion through periodical tours by trance lecturers, camp meetings, and missionary activities to accomplish mediums. Man, let's dive down the rabbit hole. Mediumship is the practice of purportedly meditating communication between familiar spirits or spirits of the dead and living human beings. It comes randomly. I'm sorry. Ramon? Is there a Ramon? Some Ramona? Remy? Raymond? I'm getting a person's quite anxious, happy anxious. Says you're in the audience. Can you put a 1 in the chat if Ray Ramona if you have someone with an R that passed over, put a 1 in the chat. They're happy. They say they're seeing you in the chat right now. They said you didn't hit the subscribe button as yet. So yes, they say to hit the subscribe button. I think it's a Sunday. It's the end of the month. We're in the age of Gemini, and I'm a Gemini. So my power of psychic communication is at an all-time high. Thank you for being here. But just put a 1 in the chat. Let me know. Let them know that you recognize they're reaching out to you. Can I get a 1 in the chat? Y'all fall for this stupidity. Kosmon, you're gonna have to come up here and defend yourself. Stop trying to sell our people this nonsense. Many proponents of spirituals were women, and like most spirituals, supported supported causes such as the abolition of slavery and women's suffrage. By the late 1880s, the credibility of the informal movement had weakened due to accusations of fraud perpetrated by mediums, and formal spiritualist organizations began to appear. Spiritualism is currently practiced primarily through various denominational spiritual churches in the United States, Canada, and the United Kingdom. Let's go back. So we went to what spiritualism is, and we're dealing with the Oashpe. Oashpe comprises a series of related interior books chronicling. What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? What you talking about, Willis? That sounds kind of. What you talking about, Willis? Did you? What Willis? Willis Man, let's continue. Okay. Oashpe comprises a series of related interior books chronicling Earth and its heavenly administrations, as well as setting forth teachings of modern times, included over 100 drawings. The title page of Oashpe describes its contents with these words: "Hold on to your seat. A new Bible in the words of Jehovah and his angel ambassadors. A sacred history of the dominions of the higher and lower heaven." Ain't that some pseudo nonsense? The dominions of the higher and lower heavens on the earth for the past 24,000 years, together with a synopsis of the cosmology of the universe, the creation of and the unseen worlds. If the unseen, what are you talking about? The labor and glory of gods and goddesses in the Ethereal heavens, with the new commandments of Jehovah for man of the present day. The great spirit, Omazde, Agokim, Eloi, the I am, the Jehovah, are some of the names used through Oashpe as the name of the creator. According to the Oashpe, the creator is both masculine and feminine. He's androgynous. OM is one of the name. Is one of the names used to refer to the feminine mother aspect. The not the Om from the Hindu Sanskrit, but the Other references include the all person. Yes, I said the all person, the unseen and the ever present, the all light, the highlight. Smoking on the good shit, got you highlight, highlight. Smoking on the good shit, get you highlight. God and Lord are titles of office for a person in the spirit realm. Now, a person in the spirit realm. Savior, anytime you want to jump in there, bro, feel free, man. Because this man just said a person in the spirit realm. Savior, anytime you want to jump in, just jump in. This man said a person in the spirit realm. I didn't know you were down. Sorry. A person in the spirit realm. Kosmon, the link is in the chat, buddy. Come up here. Defend yourself. Defend this nonsense. You want to debate. There is nothing to debate. This is a bunch of nonsense. This is a bunch of pseudoisms. What do you want to debate? There is no debate. This is outdated nonsense that you're promoting in our community. That's what this is. I'm going to read a little bit more of this because it's fun. He's androgynous. The Creator is all and was all and forever will be all. She was never born and is beyond all gods. The Creator is our Father and Mother, and all that are and were born are our brothers and sisters. We are united because we were born. So the creator is all and was all and forever will be all. Psychobabble. Psychobabble. This is Christianity reworded and played with and made to seem as if it is something more. The creators are which creator? Identify the creator. Creator is an arbitrary assertion. There's nothing grounding this so-called creator. The creator is all and was all. Was all? If there was nothing, what was the all? If the creator is he and she, that means it's necessarily a being. Is a being all? And forever will be all what? You just said the creator's a man slash woman. Androgynous. We have those today. We know what androgynous is. But androgynous, male, female, can they reproduce? Don't know. Anyway, both father and mother. So you're going back to the Geb thing? Is that what it is? The Geb thing? The pregnate the self and the, what? Psychobabble. Nonsense. Ain't no way you selling this and you want to debate. What's the debate? Newberg started writing the book in 1880 and stated that the writing was done automatically. Yeah.
Hold on, you mean to type?
He
You
had
mean to type yourself up? A book wrote itself. It
a
happened
book
in the
wrote itself
1800s.
by spirits what don't exist. Get out
Yo,
of here with your nonsense.
these niggas crazy.
Look, a typewriter. Y'all remember what a typewriter was?
A
Like,
magic
you know how
typewriter.
hard it is to push those keys? You are not doing that subconsciously.
He had mental powers. That
Oh boy,
typewriter.
look here.
Crazy.
In an explain that a feeling of urge to write. He sat down with pen and paper until a bright light enveloped his fingers and then started writing. Moreover, many of the drawings contained symbols resembling hieroglyphs. Yo. The
Yo,
19th century was
when I read
wild,
the wiki,
yo.
when I read the wiki on that shit, I was hollering. I was like, these niggas will push anything.
Bro. Yo, y'all hit the thumbs up button, man. Doesn't this remind us of a Mr. Smith? Can somebody say Mormon, Smith? Somehow they all up into Egypt, man. Y'all see what his conscious community is, bro. Shout out to Jose Francis, the Black Hawas. We can't get away from Egypt, yo. We cannot. I'm done. I'm so done. I am done.
Yo, it's the white people. It's the white people saying we gotta do what the white people do. The white people wanted Egypt, we need to do for because the white people needed it.
Look at the hieroglyphs, man. And he did this via automatic writing, right? Like the hieroglyphs just popped in his head, and he painted an American bald eagle right up there. Cartoon colors for the duck. Yo, these guys, dog, man. This is high level flim flammery, bro. presumably drawn. Uh, a copy of the banner of light letter accompanied Oashpe's published by the Kosmon Press. Now you see why I call these dudes cult following. Any organization that you affiliate with, which requires you to change your name, which requires a brotherhood of we are all Kosmons. That's why this damn community, you don't know if you're talking to Kosmon Cal, Kosmon Dal, Kosmon Ral, Kosmon Kosmon. It's a whole bunch of these Kosmons. They all sound alike, sound the same because they are stuck. They have now become a cult and they're regurgitating the same mantra. Stuck, can't think. Kosmon, hit the link. Your name is in the damn title. You gotta come and defend this nonsense. There's nothing to debate. Let's have a conversation of wow, you are so ridiculously retarded. The first edition in 1882 publication was, as it was originally presented in 1882, contained various glyphs whose resemblance to real Egyptian hieroglyphs was attested to by Professor Thomas A. M. Ward, who claimed to have deciphered the hieroglyphs on the Cleopatra needle obelisk in Central Park. No falsification, no verification. I'm Professor Thomas A. Ward, and I just deciphered that. And a lot of y'all in all these shrines is based on these translations y'all are operating. Let's be honest, because y'all can't be the damn glyph either. Just say it. Ward was present at Oashpe's first presentation as the Dr. Setlinsky, an Oriental scholar. Oh, damn, all the pseudoscience, who affirmed that mere mortals could not have produced such a book and that supernatural agents must have been responsible. You see why it is so imperative to practice proper scientific literacy. Y'all see and can appreciate now the work we do as pseudo-killers in presenting the history of science, philosophy of science, scientific method. Shout out to Preem. Shout out to Anthony. The work we do over here allows you to understand the level of bullshit you just read. That's a bunch of nonsense. Mere mortals could not have produced such a book. Professor Thomas A. M. Ward obviously was not adhering to the disciplines of methodological naturalism because he is positing a supernatural agent for the authenticity of the material that he is required to verify, because he himself was making it up. Y'all better listen. If you want to stay under the radar, stay out of these spaces. If you do not want to get dissected, eaten alive, and ran out the community, stay from coming in my scope and in my radar. Because once I start, I'm not going to stop. That goes for you too, quantum oneness. You are going to get your rude awakening as well. What you trying to do don't work. Y'all are trying to promote cults in our community, and it will be over my dead body, and I ain't ready to go nowhere no time soon. So we gonna fight, and you gonna die. Because methodological naturalism, Science is undefeated. You are already a walking dead man. You just don't know it. Oashpe emphasizes service to others. Each person is graded according to service to others. Graded by who? By what? I sure bet it ain't the spirits. Because each individual group or nation is either in ascension or descension. Sooner or later, all ascend, rising in grade. The higher one's grade, the better are the conditions within one's own soul, and the better the place awaiting one in heaven. You see, this is clinical mental manipulation
What?
right
What?
there.
What?
Get the hell up
What?
out of here.
The
Hit the
ascended
link.
masters? Is this about the ascended
Hit the link,
masters?
Kosmon.
The Metatron? He talking about the Metatron. We supposed to become Metatron. Yo, this shit is stupid. This shit is
So
mixed
these
up with
people manipulate and control you with this nonsense. Each individual group or nation is either in ascension or dissension. Who makes the evaluation? What you gonna see? The cult leaders, the head Negroes in charge. They get to decide how much effort you're putting in and if you're worthy or not. According to Oashpe, when mortals die, their spirits continue to live. It's not according to Oashpe, that's according to dualism. It's according to Plato and Aristotle, you stupid, ignorant imbeciles. That's not according to Oashpe. Plato, Aristotle, they made up the soul and spirit and all that stuff. They made it up. Don't believe me? Prove me wrong. They made it up. Now, you know I got a book coming out dealing with that. The presentations, the amount of different aspects. I can say Ruah and Nefesh, and I just step back and let Savior dissect the rest of that. Y'all are behind the spectrum. Y'all are slow gases. Cosmo hit me up, want to have a discussion with me. I read into his Oashpe stuff a bit, and I jump on the Titans Debate League, back chat. Shout out to Titans Debate League doing the thing. And I'm trying to have a conversation with these incoherent mongrels. And the level of nonsense that's coming back my way. I say, you know what, let's go take a little look. Let me just spin, see what this stuff is. All these cars. Y'all, I'm gonna run y'all up out of here. Y'all, I know y'all see an angel must submit. Angel must subsist for a season after death. Somewhere along the continuum of delightful to abysmally, abysmally wretched conditions. An angel must subsist for a season after death, somewhere along the continuum of delight and abysmally wretched condition. The heavenly place where angels initially lived is determined by what their habits were as mortal, as well as by their aspirations and diet. Selfish behavior, low thoughts, and eating animal derived food will place a newborn angel in the lowest level, being on the earth. Evil orientated persons enter heaven into hellish conditions. So you uh, enter heaven into hellish conditions. Nevertheless, all the dissensions eventually turn around and ascend upwards to more delightful place within an organized heaven, whose chief is called God. God is an advanced angel ordained into office for a season. Ordained by who? By what? Which office? Which season? You know what this is? This is a man that was about to lose his crap because he realized he was going to die. This right here is classic TMT, terror management theory. One's mortality is calling into question. And this man is afraid to die. What you're reading right here is a man that is afraid to die. There is nothing but assertions here. Metaphysical, supernatural assertions. Obviously, no human being can verify and make these claims real. The only way this is possible is with a very vivid imagination. The morphologically plural name Elohim, often translated as God singular in the Old Testament, is not used to mean the creator throughout the main body of Oashpe. A singular Hebrew term, Jehovah, and Eloah are used instead. So,
He changed the
check this out.
words. He changed the word.
Check this out. The spirit that came to him that has nothing to do with Hebrew traditions is coincidentally giving him Old Testament jargon, but reframed and stuck together and spun around. And y'all believe this? So the Elohim I'm talking about ain't the Elohim from the Bible, no, but the Elohim from the spirit word, because the spirit gave it to me with an automatic writing, so it ain't the same thing. But if it's automatic writing, how the hell can you explain it? You just have to write it. How can you explain something that came through you just by means of a medium? You were just a medium. So how the hell are you explaining anything when you were just a conduit? You don't know why that is the way it is unless you read that yourself. Uh-huh. I think I got you. Kosmon. Daryl Kosmon. Hit the link. You bona fide chicken. In Facebook. Because he needs to get up here. I need to hear this man articulate this stuff up. This is actually what these idiots think. Let's go. Back copy. There you go. The link is in the chat, Kosmon. Don't pretend that you're not seeing it. So I'm going to drop it in your back chat so you could see what's going on so you get up here. We ain't doing that. We ain't running away. No. You're in these back chats calling me out. You want a debate? There is no debate, son. You just gonna come. You just gotta come and face the gauntlet. Y'all think everything is open to a debate. No. The nonsense y'all be preaching is nothing to debate. It's nothing to debate. Let's go. Let me stop sharing this. Let's go into the Oashpe itself for a second.
Said.
Right.
What they forgot is that what is one of my favorite sayings and one of Unc's sayings that I like? I refuse to acquiesce to a faulty premise. I'm not giving the.
There ain't no debate. All the pseudo false claims. No debate.
I'm not giving that playing field. I'm not giving it enough room to even be brought into the conversation of the realm of debate. It's a belief that you then took from somebody else and tried to push off as something. Nah, I refuse to play your game because you want to play a game. You want to play a game, get an Xbox controller or something.
Y'all see, we got the Oashpe Bible up here, right? When a man holds up a book and says, "You must believe this because it says, thus said the Lord," should we not pity that man? Does he comprehend the liberty of man to acquire knowledge? Any book that imparts knowledge of the life and destiny of man is a good book. Any book that unfolds the character of a person, of Jehovah, and the wonder and glory of his creation is a good book. When a book gives us information of things we know not of, it should also give us a method of proving that information to be true. This book covers that ground. The day has arrived when man will not accept proclamations and assertions. He wants plausible reasons and substantial proofs that the authority be not merely a pretense, but a demonstrable fact. The time of man worship is at the end. Reader no longer accept a book as good and great merely any certain any certain one merely because any certain one wrote it. The book must have merits of its own, otherwise it will soon pass out of existence. If a book were to fall down from the sky with Jehovah's signature to it, man would not accept the book on that account. Why? Then should anything be said about how this book was written? It is not a destroyer of old systems or religions. It reveals a new one adapted to this age, wherein all men can can be as brethren. Mwah, wah, wah, wah. Ah, ah. Let's go. Let's go. Oashpe, the origins of the Oashpe with hints to the reader. So they got hints to you in here, all right? Let's go. Oashpe is the most astonishing book in the English language. Whoa! That's a claim. That's a mega claim. You can see our Kosmon Daryl heard this and went, "Man, we didn't know this. Man." Oashpe means sky, earth, and spirit, and is the title of a new Bible given to the world in the year 1881. Although this book is over half a century old, has had 2 editions and many printings in the U.S., 3 editions and many printings in England. It is little known by the Bible reading public. Strange as the book itself is the account of its birth. A graduate is both in both medicine and dentistry. Dr. John B. Newborn also was also gifted with astonishing extrasensory perception. For many years, his hobby was psychic research. Many of the paramount mediums of a half century. Take the floor for a second. I gotta deal with something. Every time I open my mouth, the birds go wild and wild.
Stupid. But what I'm hearing right now is astonishing. Yo, the way these people come up with their beliefs are crazy. So it seems like at some point this man was a Christian and he had some problems with Christianity. So he made up his own version of the Bible and gave it a different name.
Yeah. That's
81.
all he do, man. That's all we're seeing him. We're seeing low-level flamboyancy, and it's right in the title. It's stated right there what the intention of this nonsense is. So what is there to debate? Kosmon, you wanted to get it in. Hit the link, bro. You see, it's different. when it's on the big stage. And a debate, you want 15 minutes. I gotta sit there for half an hour to listen to you gurgitate some nonsense. Yeah, you're gonna have to go back and forth. You're gonna have to stop. You're gonna have to show and prove. And you can't. And you simply can't. And because you can't, you're not gonna hit that link. So stop talking to me about a debate, bro. You don't want to debate? Let's go. We're gonna go into some of these chapters. We're gonna pick a random one. We're gonna pick a random one. The Lord's first book. What page is that? The Lord's first book, page 68. Let's go. What was that? Yeah, I'm doing this in real time. Apostrophe, omitting, glossary of strange words. School of him, a negative place comparable with a calm on earth or the calm of sea. What's a opic, spec? Oh man, spiritual house. That is prior to this time, the angels from the earth had not grown sufficiently to desire homesteads, neither had the heavens of the earth had been prepared with plateaus sufficient for such spirits. Prior to this period, angels of low grade were kept with mortals, and taught subjectivity. Shrivas are to a new earth what guardian angels are to mortals. Y'all hearing this nonsense, right? Okay. Eoptian age. From the time man comes into being on the earth until his race becomes extinct is the Eoptian age of the earth. Wow. Y'all really come on. Ayawarratha, man, a North American contemporaneous with Poe, Abraham, and Bram. Oh shit! he was taller than any other man, with a bright shining face of copper. He established amongst the North Americans of his time the worship of the Great Spirit, and his doctrines are still held by most of the tribes of North American Indians who refuses to accept any other God or Savior. Wata established the United States of America, but called by the name Oa Pigoquin or Algonquin. The model of his independent nation, united in one, was that which was adopted in the formation of the present United States of America by the whites. Damn, the language alone. Tata Hojaks, the builder of the Great Pyramid in Egypt. I'm done. I'm. Oh my mother.
That shit. That
Listen.
shit. That shit. Yo.
I'm
And
by the
this is what they want
definition,
people to
man.
read. They want people to read the book. They want people to actually sit down and read some of it. Like, are you serious? Oh, yeah.
Yo, don't forget to smash the like button. Kosmon Church. Kosmon Cal, Daryl Kosmon, Kosmon Will, Kosmon Smith. and they go to the Kosmon church. All right. So Tut Hama Hojax was a builder of the Great Pyramid in Egypt and one of the greatest adepts
Had
that
the
ever
last.
lived.
Top had the last name. Top had the last name. Yo, hold on. I didn't know Top had a last name. Said, what the hell we doing?
Hojax. What good, God? Oh, man. Oh, no. I want to read this one. Oh, God. Yeah. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. I want to read this one here. Make it a little bit bigger here. The great and one of the greatest adepts that ever lived. He could hear the gods and talk with them understandingly and could cast himself in the death trance and go spiritually into the lower heavens and return at will. Damn!
Wow.
Damn!
That's dope.
Oof.
Dope.
He was
That
under
sounds
the
like
inspiration of the false god Osiris. Oh shit! So he was under the inspiration of the false god Osiris. Though his great angel servant gods Baal and Egopt, he labored to establish immortality in the flesh. Immortality in the flesh. That is to make the mortal body incorruptible, so that it would never die. But with all the forces of his will and by his great learning, he could the not stay the withering of the flesh, and he died on the day he was 100 years old. Yeah. What we got a Moses here, an Egyptian lawgiver. Now he just made. It came to him in the dream. Remember, this is all via automatic writing. This is what y'all now don't forget now. This is what it is. Hints to the reader. The earth floated in the midst of a vortex. The earth floated in the midst of a vortex, atmospherian ocean, atmospherian, a spirit, or more properly, an angel dwelling in one of the many atmospherian heavens in atmospheria. Chinvat, Etheria, Etherean worlds, Etherean cycles. Lord, a one-time mortal ruler over part of the people on earth for a season. What kind of season? Winter, spring, fall? What? Man, Nirvanian chief, next higher than Orion chief, one of the council in the Etherean worlds who appoints the Orions their place. The creator, the great spirit, the almighty, the I am, Father, Heavenly Father, the all highest, all light, all person, the all higher, highest cause, person ever presence, named by man, Jehovah, Elohino, Elo, Equig, Oz Mazat. Okay, listen, Oashpe boys, y'all got nothing. Leave me alone with the nonsense. Get out of here with stupidity. It's pure nonsense. But Kosmon, you can hit the link, come up here and defend that nonsense. So I want to transition now. Since Kosmon doesn't want to go up here, I want to go into what we was talking about over on Titans TV. Shout out to Titan, Mr. Bay. We need to start to do better as a community. We live in a modern day and we live under a particular epistemic regime. And that epistemic regime is science, methodological naturalism. You can't get around it. Any claims that you make will be scrutinized or passed through that particular rubric. To say that you have a new philosophy, anybody is allowed to make up something. I
Yeah.
can have any philosophy I want, but you do not come into the arena and pretend that you have some new information, something that is going to move our knowledge forward, when you're simply repackaging old, outdated philosophical concepts. I know you think that you made it up because you actually think that there's something new under the sun. Although there is nothing new under the sun. You're making that stuff up, bro.
Yeah, yeah, like I read his abstract. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't extremely like, you know, I kind of apologize to him. Like, you know, I apologize, but because what he wrote, it wasn't like extremely pseudo in the abstract. What he was trying to say. But I was telling him, I gave him I gave him a pushback on this. I said your formula of reality or whatever is he said something about time plus nature plus reality. I said, but we already have the formula of that. It's called time space. And time space is two parts of nature itself. The whole thing is nature. The whole thing is natural. So there's no point of saying turning the nature. You know what I'm saying? So that was my pushback on
Yeah,
it. But it's nothing new. Like it's nothing new. Like what you're saying is nothing new. You know what I'm saying?
general
Or
relativity
no idea. Yeah.
and special relativity gives us space time. Within space time, everything within space time is reality. It doesn't acquire us observing
Exactly.
reality.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
that, when you posit your claim that way, you're making a philosophical position. And that's not a new philosophical position, it's panpsychism. You're saying consciousness is essential. You're saying awareness is what produces reality. That's idealism.
Yeah,
We
yeah, that's
emerged,
idealism.
yeah, we emerged within humans, life emerged within reality. We have no evidence for reality outside of our localized
Yeah.
solar system.
Or
But
outside of our own senses either. Like say for instance, if sentient creatures only existed in vertebrates or you know what I'm saying animals with eyes and ears and other you know what I'm saying mutations never existed. If it was only plants. If it was only a plant world, that wouldn't change reality. Reality still
yeah,
be what it is.
yeah. So
So
that whole, go ahead.
so that's what made me,
Go ahead,
when he
Xavier.
was talking about it earlier, that's what made me ask him about my dog. Because at
Yep.
that point I recognized that it was all from a human subjective experience. So what are we talking about? It's all abstract. You should be able to pick that up in the in the synopsis that I put back there.
Yeah, so effectively, what we're seeing is a philosophical attempt to describe consciousness, and primarily human consciousness. And if we look at history and we go through how these concepts developed, first animism, then you get the formalization of ruah nefesh, that later developed into spirit and soul. Spirit and soul, these Platonic and Aristotelian concepts were fused into religion. Religion was the knowledge system for up until the discovery of the New World. So this was the standard. Yes, this was the way information was processed. Couldn't get away from it. As we continue to develop and we produce the scientific method in that period, you got the French materialists, for example, grounding consciousness, my awareness, in physicality as a part of the mind, as a part of the brain, sorry. As we continue to develop Phileas Gage, more evidence mind is a product of the brain. Today, modern neuroscience and clinical psychology, the mind is a product of the brain. Philosophically, they want to produce something called the heart problem, my qualia, the quality of my experience. If my
Exactly.
hardwire is 1.0 and your hardwire is 1.12 and Guller's hardwire is 1.16, the quality of our experience, what our brain is able to produce, the quality of that experience will vary. When you understand determinism, you understand epigenetics, you understand how a person, the quality of their experience is to that individual. And it's not only uh, the overall aspect, it is what you ate that morning, is how you're going to feel about this color red. The idea of a feeling is also produced by these same mental states functioning. So they're consistently trying to separate your awareness from the mental processes. You hear me? Yeah, well, there's correlation, but that's not correlation. That's it. That's it. When I think of something, you go in the brain, you can see what is taking place. Soon we are going to get developed technology that is going to be able to read those signals and reproduce the image that is in your head on a screen. You want to bet? They're going to ask you to think of a particular image. The technology is going to be so refined as to reproduce the image or the idea or the concept that is taking place by the means of those neural networks firing. So even when we are talking about consciousness today, we need to stick within the realm of science, move away from these metaphysical assertions which we cannot ground. There you go.
Yeah, yeah. I would say like what we really trying to trying to describe like this philosophy stuff is self awareness, and that's not human exclusive. Like you have to be an organism to be aware of something before you aware of yourself first.
Yeah, like self awareness is just a higher functioning a neural network, right? Like this, we are operating on a very outdated paradigm. We this human exceptionalism, as if this awareness of self and your environment is exclusive to humans. No, that's human exceptionalism. I work with animals, right? I see animals doing problem solving. They like you put your dog in a particular situation and engage their minds. We understand now that animals operate off of flight or fight, primarily when engaging with a foreign species. At the moment you can get beyond the flight or fight response, all animals engage in thinking, evaluating the circumstances, what's going on. Once they are out of that flight or fight mode, you can develop a relationship with almost any animal because they are not only sentient, they are fully aware. Y'all, we are so human centric. We are so busy with our own existence and and think we're the all end all be all, that you are going to get a hypothesis that claims that my awareness is what produces reality. You have got to be completely and utterly ignorant or completely utterly self-centered to even think that that's a coherent thing to think. That's incoherent. I dropped the link in the chat. Get up here.
And
See
Hey,
that's
this.
look.
and that and
Hey,
that's
look.
why I asked about my dog. Said that's why I asked about my puppy. Is she
Yep.
awake? Is she conscious?
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm gonna read a piece. I'm gonna read a piece from Jane Goodall, Shadow of Man, in her preface, right? What she said, but how was Shadow, referring to Shadow of Man, her book, how was Shadow received by scientists? It said, when I admitted to Cambridge University in 1961, I had been told that I've been told that was inappropriate to talk to chimpanzees having personalities, minds capable of thought, or emotions similar to those we call happiness, sadness, anger, despair, and so on. All these were attributable to human animals only. In other words, there was a sharp line dividing us from them. By the time Shadow was published, at least some scientists had begun to think differently. There had been other field studies of animals with complex societies, chimpanzees in various parts of Africa, gorilla, baboons, elephants, and so on. And the accumulation of these careful observations was forcing science to rethink its attitude towards other than human animals. It became increasingly clear that we are a part of and not separated from the rest of the animal kingdom. Of course, our intelligence has hugely developed, possibly stimulating our language skills. We can talk of things not present, planned, or the this or distant future. Create our oral history. Discuss ideas with plan for the. I'm sorry. Discuss ideas with each other, but differences of degree rather than kind.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Human exceptionalism. That's the thing. That's the thing on the book. Ladies and gentlemen, we got the king of the conversation, King
Yeah,
Sosa in the building. What it do, Sosa?
yeah. Peace, everybody. I just want to say, Sabi, I don't think your dog will qualify as being conscious, right? Because they don't just. It's not just about like awareness, right? That's not. They're looking for the subjective experience that the I am having an experience, right? So, the best way to think about it is, when most of us are familiar with the monkey test with the mirror, when they put the red mark or the lipstick mark on a monkey's face and they put them in front of the mirror to see the monkey can look in the mirror and determine that and see if he's gonna rub his head. And they use that as recognizing like the monkey recognizes ourselves. I think dogs fail the mirror test. So I think that's why they don't put that into I don't think they put dogs into that category of consciousness.
Okay, so this is what a quick AI overview. Quick. Are dogs conscious? Yes, dogs are conscious. Scientific consensus, including prominent endorsements like the New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness, confirms that dogs possess the neurological substrates required to generate conscious experience, feel emotions, and perceive the world around them. I'm
Right.
sorry.
Do they pass the mirror test?
I think this is a level. This is a level of self-awareness.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Dogs are
Do
conscious.
dogs pass the mirror test?
I don't know. You,
No, they don't. I think this is like a level of
Yeah, because
self-awareness.
they experience the world around them. They have
you're gonna
emotions.
think that pass the mirror test gonna be like chimpanzees bonobos, orangutan. You know what I'm saying? They got some other. They started figuring some other species.
I think elephant. I think African gray parrots.
Right, because it's not necessarily consciousness in a broader sense. That they're going deeper into, you know what I'm saying, that subjective experience. That's why they use a mirror test. You feel me? That's what one of the tests they use is a mirror test, just to get away from the idea of consciousness. Just refer to like a respondent stimuli, because that's just a broad usage. Like respondent stimuli, that's not really a part of the hard problem of conscious conversation. So that's why they classify your dog as such.
Look, so when you look into it, you are right. But it says, however, scientists believe this is due to how dogs experience the world, because dogs rely on their sense of smell rather than sight. Cognition researchers have developed olfactory alternatives to the mirror test. In scent-based experiments, dogs successfully recognize and spend more time investigating their own scent when it has been altered, which demonstrates a strong sense of self-awareness. So even though they don't pass the mirror test because they rely more on their smell when they're scent, so dogs are conscious, bro. Sorry.
Yeah, but I think we're talking. That's what it's more strict. We're talking about like self-conscious. That's why, and one of the reasons why we stay within human and don't go to animals, because we can examine what humans thinking, right? So like one thing is the considering your like they call it like what's the term I call it? Astral projecting, right? Not young Pharaoh astral project. The ability to think about 5 years from now, I want to be doing this.
Oh yeah, that's what I just said. That's what I said. Like when I read the dang good, like thinking in the future, thinking in the present. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm saying there's just more layers to it that y'all not really, that it's not really being addressed. It's not as then one of the reasons why they kind of stay away from animals, because they'd be like, yo, but we can see some things, but we don't even know what they're thinking. So let's just stick to humans. But they use them, so they get some idea just to get a base understanding.
So my dog is barking at me. Y'all want to know what she's telling me?
Man, listen, you got
Watch
it.
this. I'm gonna let y'all know that she's telling me.
Listen to this for a second. So I'm gonna play this for a second, Sabia. I'm gonna play this for a second. The self-illusion. This is
I'm familiar with
Susan Blackamore. No, I know you're familiar, but this is the problem with what Sosa described.
You get accused of saying it doesn't exist. The Buddha had this trouble, didn't he? To some people, he would say, of course the self exists. It's not that there isn't a self, it's that the self is.
Dogs aren't conscious, nigga. Since dogs aren't conscious, nigga. Since dogs aren't conscious.
So look it up, and is usually defined as something like.
Listen, I mean something that, bro. I'm sorry.
Is not what it is.
Animals are conscious. Animals are conscious.
Bro. You're playing a video, Sabio.
Whoa! I'm playing a video. Can y'all hear it?
I can hear a little bit. Maybe it's my thing. I was a little low on my end.
This is just. I get it to play any louder, and I'm playing it via the system. I don't know if the folks at home could hear it. Well, let me see.
Right. Does it seem a bit like this?
Yeah.
Well, I know that you know that there isn't an armchair in your head that you're sitting in. But I suggest many of you will have dropped out of this feeling. Well, I know but you can probably
it's clear.
Back into it. Most people in the world, I think, do feel something like this. It's very natural. It seems to be the way that we're built. That we feel as, oh, there's my foot. That's my foot, that's my knee, that's my tummy, and I'm in here looking at them when I look this up.
See, that's the point we were trying to make. It's about that idea of self. What's that? How does that work? And that's one of the things they're trying to describe, like the quality of my personal experience. How do I create the illusion of this I? Where is this I? There is no I. It's something that your brain does. But that's what she's talking about. Let's play a little bit more.
I'm up here and I'm looking at my foot. And
I'm up here and I'm looking at my foot.
That's a kind of natural way that we feel about ourselves. But of course, it's rubbish. There is not only no armchair, but there isn't any place in the brain. This is what Dan Dennett calls the Cartesian theater. It's this alluring place that we kind of invent. We may give up Cartesian dualism, we may be absolutely sure that there isn't mind stuff and physical stuff or matter and consciousness. We say we're monists, but actually we still believe in a kind of experiencing self, the experiencer and the experience. And according to him, and I would agree, this is just, it doesn't fit with what we know about how the brain works at all. So that's why he says that when you discard Cartesian dualism, as almost everybody does, you must really discard the show that would have gone on in the Cartesian theater and the audience as well. Now, people often throw out the audience, or they think they do, but it kind of creeps back. It's even harder to throw out the show. The feeling that I am having a stream of experiences is so compelling that we keep getting back into it. But it makes no sense at all in terms.
That is the hardest thing for most people to conceptualize. There is no I.
Well,
there is no I. There is
even within
no
that framework,
I, ladies and gentlemen.
That's not. There's different frameworks that accept different ideals. Like within Buddhism, there's no self. So I'm saying, so there's different frameworks that have different ideas about the self. I know Sam Harris pushes it, like different people, but it's not like necessarily consensus.
In Buddhism, there is a meditation of the I to unite with the all. That's when you reach nirvana. But there is a concept of a divine being that is going to reach synthesis. Susan Blackmore here, she see the Cartesian dualism. She's explaining to us we have this illusion of a self, that I have feet, I have hands. That's an illusion that the brain produces.
Yeah, that's all.
Different. That's what I'm saying. Within neuroscience, I don't have to. We don't have time to go through all that on the show. That's just like a neuroscience conversation.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because this idea, you got self is fundamental, self is real, constructed, got different positions.
Yeah, those are philosophical positions. We are talking hard
dog,
right?
Sabio. So, like your dog.
We're gonna listen to Dr. Blackmore for a little bit more.
Can't hear you. I got two people talking.
I can't even hear. Like,
can't hear. Two people talking.
Good proportion of your brain. Vision is very important in humans.
Too low. Like,
you
I don't
find
even
there's
know
something
where
like
she coming in
40
the
parallel
conversation.
pathways going on there. Some meet up again and separate out, others don't. Different information being, going through the ventral stream and the dorsal stream and doing different jobs. And they never come together into some kind of place where the picture is that you see in the world. Because you don't actually see a picture in the world. We're kind of compelling this feeling that, I can see the whole room, when you actually, that's another whole story, which I often talk about and written about, but to do with change blindness, inattentional blindness, and so on. We can show that there isn't that kind of representation. There isn't anywhere in the brain where the show happens. There's just shows going on all over the place, lots and lots and lots of parallel shows. And what about the self who might be experiencing them? Well, there's no middle. The brain is not organized in such a way that stuff comes in and ends up somewhere and then orders go out. Not at all. There's stuff going through here. The fact that I'm not going to crash into this is all happening very, very fast through the dorsal stream, straight to motor cortex from eyes, without going through the other part in the ventral stream, which does all the perception and decides, it's flowers. That happens more slowly. They don't come together, these things. They're separate. I know that's kind of weird, but it's important to know that, because it helps to kind of, the eyes, me inside here doing it. And give rise, therefore, to understanding a little bit about what it might mean to say that I am an illusion, or the self is an illusion. It feels this way, but it really isn't. It feels, I submit, but please argue, for many of you it may not feel this way, with an audience like this of people who've generally done a lot of meditation, mindfulness, exploration. Here I am. Seems to be me, seems to be one me in charge of this body. Unified, continuous. It seems to be, it doesn't anymore actually, but it used to seem to be that it was me a few minutes ago, and before that it was me and the little girl and so on, that there was something continuous about the me's generated by this brain and this body. it seems to be that there's a me having a stream of experiences. And it seems to be that I have some effect on my body. I can say, I can raise my hand, ha ha ha, and I did it. Now, there's plenty of psychological evidence, fascinating stuff. That's just an illusion. We have thoughts. No, really. I mean, Libet's work is just the start.
We can't play the
we
whole
have
video
thoughts.
like that,
They're
bro. We're gonna
about
have
an
to
action,
like
say,
pause it.
the action happens. There's a correlation. They're in that order.
Yeah.
We jump to the conclusion.
Like,
So pretty
we can
much
just discuss it
this
and just pull surface
idea
around it.
of the self is an illusion.
That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That
that's
is their
Susan
difference.
Blackmore. Y'all check that out when y'all get an opportunity.
So what we
That's
can do
her
is
and Seth O'Neill.
we got to do shows, right, where we pull sources more and then show what the consensus view is, if there's a consensus view, right? In Rene Descartes' view, he said that the self is fundamental. It's a different viewpoint. We don't, right? But then cognitive science, they say self is real. This is constructed. The different frameworks, right? And some gonna say self is the different ideas within it. You know what I'm saying? Neuroscience treats a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? They think that the self arises from these, different processes. The same way like consciousness is emergent. There's different viewpoints.
Yeah, because
also,
when you're grounded in empiricism and in empirical method, there is one stream you go down. So
no, what I'm saying is that even within neuroscience, there's different. What I'm saying is not a settled conversation. You can't say self is illusion. So problem solved. That's not the case.
Yeah, once you understand the self is an illusion, now we're going to explore the mechanism.
All right.
Because it's produced by the mechanism. It is something generated by the brain. It is something generated by the brain. Because Cartesian dualism is out of the equation, right?
Just write the journal, bro. And they'll just put the shit to bed within the field.
I got
I need to write the journal. I'll just listen to Susan Blackmore and I'll just refer to
Sabio, your dog
explain these concepts. Because these are the experts that are explaining. I'm not arguing with the expert.
I'm saying within your
man, y'all got three people talking, yo. Y'all got three people talking. Y'all got three people talking, yo.
You can hear me?
I can hear you now. You gotta let him talk, Cedric. I don't know if you can kind of hear, yo, but he talk. He in the middle of talking, yo.
Yeah, I'm saying like Sabio think his dog, like your dog thinks you're part of the pack, right?
Right.
Like a chimp knows that a human is not a chimp, bro. Yeah. He's well aware.
That don't mean they're not conscious though.
Yeah, that don't mean that.
Yeah, niggas ain't this.
We're talking about greed.
It said scientists may have been wrong about dog self-awareness.
You're talking about degrees of consciousness.
Exactly. That's what I've been talking about the whole time.
Yeah, so within certain degrees, everybody there's gonna be overlap. But at particular levels, certain things fall off. That's what I'm trying to show.
All I'm saying is that they're conscious. That's it.
I ain't mean to hurt the feelings about the dog, bro.
Y'all on Sosa. Y'all on Sosa. Favorite subject. Mess with Sosa, boy. I can't believe it, boy.
I didn't mean to hurt Sabio feelings about the dog.
It's just a dog, Sabio, and it's a dog, bro.
No. You didn't hurt.
They said put that article in the back there.
It's about at that point we're the only things that experience consciousness. If animals aren't conscious, all I'm saying is that they are aware of their environment.
Yo, are you listening or arguing? What you doing?
No, I'm not. He's
You're not listening to what you're not listening. I don't think nobody paying attention to what Sosa's saying, yo.
Telling me they're not. And I'm saying, yes, animals are conscious because we're part of the animal kingdom. We are animals.
So you ain't read nothing on it then. You just tripping. I get it. No, you haven't. No, you haven't. Nah. You got the basic understanding like I got the basic understanding. Sosa got a more detailed, in-depth understanding of it, bro. You playing now. Now you about to get beat up on purpose. For no reason. For no reason.
Nope.
Come on, bro. It don't even make sense.
Right.
You can't repeat what he said, though?
He mad about the dog. He mad about
Oh,
the dog. Dog
Just
thing.
he's basically saying what I'm saying. There's degrees. There
no,
are
now we on it. I agree. When everybody's saying something different, now we agree.
no, I've been saying it the whole time. All I've been saying is that they
Hey,
comparing
Savior, you know what, yo, you gotta
my
stop that, bro.
dog,
You
my
know what? You gotta
dog
stop that. Yeah, you
conscious.
sound like the pseudos now, bro. I agree. No, bro, you wouldn't be up
Yeah,
here
he said in
as
the
loud as you
green.
is if you agree with him.
I've been saying it the whole
No,
time. I read
he said in the
two
green,
articles
didn't
that said the same thing. There's degrees of it. What's
he?
wrong?
He didn't say he agreed. He said it's degrees. He said degrees of like that's what we was talking about.
Huh? And what are we talking about?
I don't know. Maybe I thought you may figure out what we're talking about.
I
We're
just let
talking
it
about
Catch
go,
up.
man. Yeah.
what we're doing is we're separating human consciousness from the animal kingdom. I've
That
been
ain't what
doing
it-
it.
So
That's
you
all I'm saying.
then you don't agree with him then.
Oh
So why
shit.
you just lie and said you agree with him? When I knew what you were saying, you didn't agree with him. You didn't even comprehend what he said. Maybe you didn't hear him saying it because Cedric, y'all, they got to talking at the same time. So maybe you didn't hear it. So you should ask him again what he said, yo.
All right.
Yeah, all I talked about was just trying to separate the broad uses of consciousness. That's all I was talking about, bro. Right? And I said so from we went from awareness, stimuli, and you got to keep going up the ladder until you get to certain things drop off. You know what I'm saying? That's all I was saying, bro. And there's a point where dogs drop off the consciousness ladder.
Yeah.
We're trying to climb up to the, because we are human centric. So we're trying to climb up the ladder to get to, what we consider or what we view as a equal level of consciousness, like how we describe or how we subjectively view consciousness. That's all I'm
So
saying.
when I talk about the
But like
illusion of self, that is not a new thing.
I didn't
So
say it
this
was
has
new.
long been known and established. Yeah,
Yeah, look, Sam Wolf says.
there you go. This is another.
You can go to Sam Harris has a video on a Cedric, 11 years old, YouTube. Right? I'm not saying that in there. I'm not saying that does not exist there. I agree. It's within the field. It's within the framework.
Yeah, I understand exactly what you're saying. He was basically saying that there's different groups, just like in evolutionary biology, man. There's certain groups that think certain things are adaptations of time, and they debate the mechanisms.
Right.
So while we all agree there's consciousness, there's different, aspects of it within the framework of the field itself that's different. I get that. I thought that's what you were saying.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just not
So I
subtle.
was explaining why Cartesian dualism. So the concept of dualism and these ideas, where we talk about philosophy, whether it's settled. However, once you enter into the range of empiricism, which is a particular philosophical branch, there are certain ways in which you're going to operate. So when claims are being made that takes us back in the realm of dualism, then is when the hard stops come out, right? In our that's why we talk about the illusion of self. These are the positions that nullify Cartesian dualism, but they are only explaining why that feeling or that idea persists, right? Because Cartesian dualism comes out of the illusion of I having a body. That's where Cartesian dualism rests. So when you hear a lot of these arguments, they are framed around Cartesian dualism without people understanding we are past that. The illusion of self, like this is the philosophical grounding on which methodological naturalism operates. Like we understand it's brain centric. That's why all mechanisms explored in understanding how this phenomena is produced is being studied. The idea that it is a separate thing experiencing what the mind, what the brain is producing is out of here. That's not even considered anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't. That's why I keep
Because
saying like,
any aspect of that is within the realm of dualism. So
yeah,
that's what I'm
I
saying.
keep trying to explain to you that that all of that is within the game, and even if that does not rip the conversation apart. Like all these things can fit in, and nothing changes. Even within the self is construct real. It's still constructed through brain. It's not like that. They're not making a different claim. Like now, one without That's Rene Descartes. I think that he said that um, that's fundamental. The self is fundamental. That's Rene Descartes, bro. However long ago he was
Yeah, but
alive.
he's a philosopher though, not even
Yeah, I'm
one
saying
that
that's Rene
operates
Descartes' view.
within empiricism. Yeah, so he's not grounded. He's just stating
Yeah,
that
so
there's nothing to
we're
ground
not
his
using
position.
him. They're not. Yeah, so the cognitive science is not using Rene Descartes. We're not using the Cartesian view. Even within cognitive scientists, where they just disagree because for one, just like consciousness, how you define self. Niggas argue about how you define self, just like they argue about how you define consciousness. So within the field, they agree to some to a lots of thing on it, but they still argue that the shit is coming from the different brain processes, and you know what I mean. They're still they're not moving away from that. They're not moving away from the brain.
Yeah. Hey, hey, said whenever you get a chance, you share some of the sources I put in the back check.
You guys
Yeah.
hear me?
So Cedric, so you needed to be one
Oh yeah.
way to fit what you're talking about? Is that what it is? Or could it be the way you talking about it fits
Mm,
that particular way, and then there are other ways? You get the point? So you think it's just one size fit all?
yes. So what I'm saying is when you are talking about philosophers and you're talking about neuroscientists, how the neuroscientists describe these philosophical concepts are completely different from the talks or the engagement that you have with just the philosophers. Like
Uh-huh.
Dennett, not Dennett. Chalmers proposes a hard problem of consciousness. This whole qualia thing, that's a Chalmers' idea. No other philosopher had these ideas. Dennett doesn't see it. Dennett, an actual scientist, he dismisses that as repackaged vitalism. So we keep these arguments alive, and they are not within the framework of methodological naturalism. Every scientist that is going to operate and talk about the consciousness does not operate on the idea that the self is something other. It's an illusion. How how this process is actually being produced, right? Which areas of the brain fire, how this thing works. That's what neuroscience is trying to discover, not whether the self is a thing, because it's not. Like that's not even a discussion. The hard problem is not one within the realm of science. It simply isn't. It is one within the philosophical realm. And there's where you must make those dissections. From the moment you start to talk about the brain, consciousness, and empiricism, there are certain discussions that simply are not relevant and not part of the discussion.
So Sosa, do you hear what he's saying? I
Yeah, I'm just
understand the
saying.
different aspect. I understand the different groups within the psychology. So, is what you saying fit into his framework or destroys his framework? Because it's the reason why he's fighting for it. I'm trying to figure out why.
That's some stuff he got going on with the whole Oshpe deal and all that. I'm not gonna really. I don't care about it. I'm not gonna say that. But what I did wonder what had to see because I heard Anthony and Gary had a good conversation about the black hole shit like that. And then and I actually watched some of the videos that you posted said about because you said the old boy was getting beat up. So I actually watched the video. I watched two of them, and I watched another one, right? And I watched him and Nell Seth. And him and Nell, like, cause, and I don't even know if y'all really watch. Everything else Seth are good friends. They disagreed on some points. I don't know if y'all watched that video, but within it, right, and with other videos I'm watching, I want Anthony to talk about the fact that they're starting to think, because the viewpoint is that we currently under is space time is fundamental, right? But a lot of physicists now are starting to come to the viewpoint of realizing that general relativity breaks down at 10 to the negative 33 centimeters, and they're saying that we can't go no more further with that, and they're starting to posit that space time may not be fundamental. Space time may emerge from something else. So I kind of want Anthony to deal with that on like this little show. I'll put together some different questions and stuff and have them like discuss it a little further that I can kind of peer into it and you know what I mean, see where they go with it. You familiar?
I think Tuesday he's going to talk about that a little bit with regards to the
Who?
article that you brought up. Anthony, Tuesday he's going to talk about it in his spatial. The
Yeah,
idea,
I'm gonna put together some questions for him.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in the last show, Preem also brought made some conversation about it. So I'm waiting for on Tuesday because apparently we have evidence of Penrose's initial hypothesis of a big crunch.
So Robert Penrose?
Roger Penrose, yeah. So his
Roger
initial,
Penrose? Yeah.
yeah, his
You know
initial
what?
hypothesis of the black hole concept, right? The collapsing and the production of black holes is why you get universe after universe. I'm not quite sure. Don't hold me to it, but I think
Now within
that's
that
what I got.
framework, right? There's a before the
Huh?
Big Bang. If you use Roger Penrose,
Yeah, I mean, Roger Penrose is a natural philosopher, right? And again, when you understand what that guys like him, Sean Carroll, Stephen Hawkins are mandated to do, they go outside of the frameworks that we have. They are pushing theoretical and philosophical science into the forefront, and it's over time and where we're trying to prove these things or trying to test these hypotheses that we come up with new data. So yeah, Penrose had tubular quantum processing in the brain, etc. Like yeah, there's a lot of hypotheses and theoretical stuff that they come up with, but they are allowed to. I appreciate when they do it.
yeah, because there's two people. The space time is doom concept come from this guy named David Ross. That
Hmm.
won a Nobel Peace Prize. That won a Nobel Prize in '04, right? And then there's a new dude new dudes. Like three of them. I can't remember their names. They just won a Nobel Prize in physics, showing
Yeah,
that local reality is flawed. That so local realism fails. So there, you know what I mean. So a lot of things within physics right now are starting to kind of starting to make it to headed towards making a shift. You know what I'm saying? So we may
yeah.
be at
I
the
mean,
forefront of the
yeah, a
shift
lot of stuff that
and
James
change.
Webb, and they predicted that James Webb is gonna make us change a lot of stuff. So, I'm interested to see what that is. That's really fascinating.
Yeah, but I'm gonna when they do that show, I'm gonna kind of put together some questions for them, and actually I want to give it to them in advance. You know what I mean? So I don't damn just drop it. You know what I mean? Just
Mm,
blindside them and be like, well, I don't, you know what I mean? Just have time to look into it. You know what I mean? But that's crazy in itself. That space time may not be fundamental. You know what I mean? So
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's gonna be that's gonna be a can of worms. Ooh, wrap your head around that. I'm not pretending I can.
They said, did you see the article I put in the back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me check again. Uh, oh yeah,
You
share
can either
group.
do
The
the,
last one, right?
you can either do that one or the Smithsonian.
Smithsonian.
Yeah, that's a quick. That's more quicker. The other one is actual journal, so you go to the other
Let
one
me
too.
yeah, let me
What's
pull
the
up the
source
Smithsonian.
about? What's the source about?
Just a second. I think
Hey,
it's
Governor.
animal awareness. Oh, uh, yeah. Here you go. It says dogs may be more self-aware than experts thought. A new study, canines recognized how their bodies took up space and moved to complete a task. Okay. Anecdotally, dogs may not seem very aware of their size and how much room they take up. Try sharing your bed with a dog or any space or size, and this becomes clear. Puppies sometimes like to jump on new people unaware of their increasing strength, and plenty of big dogs insist on being lap dogs well past the puppy stage. So, the results of a new study published last week showing evidence of body awareness in dogs may surprise you. Body awareness is key to establishing self awareness or self representation, which means an individual has the capacity not only to perceive themselves, but also perceive where they are in space. Yasmin Saplokoglu explains in Life Science, researchers at University in Budapest asked dogs to understand how their bodies view the world around them. Reporter Carly Casella of Science Investigation of Self-Representation related to the ability we share social environment with them. Thus, it is reasonable to assume that at least some of its forms might appear in them too, says study author Rita Lentia, a graduate student of Chrissy Sexton for Earth.com. Adapting experimental models from studies of body awareness in elephant and toddlers, the researchers tested 32 dogs from different breeds and sizes on their ability to recognize their body as an obstacle. In that problem solving experiment, the canines had to grab a toy that was attached to a mat they were sitting on. If the dog demonstrated body awareness, they knew they needed to get off the mat to complete the task and give the toy to their owners, reported Live Science. The experimental conditions were then compared to control groups in which the toy wasn't attached to anything or attached to anything at all. Report Ramat with the toy attached more than they did when the toy was stuck to the ground instead. Interesting. Okay, I'm going to.
Yeah, the and the other source is the actual journal, is the actual scientific journal. This the sent on the magazine, but the last one I put is the actual journal in the study.
So Gullah.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but if it is no self, how can it be aware of self?
You said what now? I ain't say that. I ain't say what.
Cedric said that. Cedric said ain't no self.
I
So
mean, it
he
could be
was.
illusion, whatever it is, like whatever. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no whatever it is. Most definitely ain't no me. I don't know. Too.
I'm saying, I thought.
But the self is part of, you know what I'm saying? It's just being aware of the reality of the world. Like you have to be aware of something before you can be aware of yourself. You know what I'm saying? I don't know
That's
what you're
why I
saying.
mean,
Yeah,
I shit. So there ain't no self then, nigga. You ain't aware of nothing.
That's just saying like a philosophical argument or some wild shit. Say what you want to say, nigga. When I hit my foot, I'm aware that's my motherfucking foot. Y'all can say what y'all want to say.
Or like they do a test where like they'll put a a ball. They'll put like a ball inside a ball in a box, right? And then they'll leave the room, right? The person leave the room, and then when they person leave the room, they'll move the ball from box A to box B, right? The dog leave the room. You know what I'm saying? So they got like little tests like that, like third and fourth and fifth graders do to get a concept of like theory of mind, right? I know that, you know that she knows. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying. Like when we go up the ladders, the animals fall off.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it. I wouldn't call it a ladder. I wouldn't really call it a ladder. You know, so I just say complexity because you saying it's a ladder. That's like that's going against evolution because evolution doesn't make something better and better. You know, it just makes something work.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, no, not necessarily. But I'm saying no, there's just different levels. But what I'm saying is that we're limited because we can't know, right? We can't know what they're thinking. We could be completely wrong, and it could be sitting around like, man, y'all niggas tripping. But we can't. But they can't. Right? We can't know. So
Yeah, that's because humans have language. You know, so humans have a particular type of language. If you don't know their language, that means it ain't. You know, say something there. You know,
that's you're just making my point. I said something could be there, but we limited as to how far we can go.
Yeah, just like look at the study on look at the study on Alex the African gray. Like, you know what I'm saying? They studied a particular African gray plant. They have a particular what they quote unquote self-awareness or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even like other animal non-human, you know what I'm saying, consciousness is also studied too.
The video about a fish. Like,
I mean, it's studied. I mean, they're not studying this stuff for no reason. They're not studying animal consciousness for no reason. That's a whole field in itself.
I said it's studying for no reason. I'm just saying like that the reason we just turn the focus on human because we're just limited. You know what I'm saying? Like some scientists may even imply that you know what you know that dogs think of what it's thinking. Because like they could be like, nigga, how can you know? You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. We just limit as far as we can go. They could be exactly the same. A dog could think 5 years from now. Nigga, 5 years from now, my life was hell. And I'm glad I'm here with Sabio. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we kind of gotta. Yeah, Sabian kind of understands that research, right? He kind of knows it, so we need to hear you speak on it, Sabian. How you know your dog know?
So it's from studies, scientific studies like the one Gullah just has said, read, and other little things, because like this, here go another one. And this comes from Live Science. Here go another way. Neurological parallels. Dogs share similar brain structures, including the amygdala and cerebral cortex, which process emotions and memory in humans. Emotional range. Dogs display clear emotional states such as joy, fear, anxiety, and grief, and adapt their behavior based on past experiences and social interactions. Intentional planning. They exhibit clear signs of forward thinking and intentionality, such as anticipating rewards, reading human social cues, and navigating complex social hierarchies. Sensory self-awareness. While dogs fail visual mirror tests, they pass olfactory self-recognition tests, demonstrating a strong awareness of their own distinct scent and body in space. This scientific acknowledgement reflects a broader shift in biology, as highlighted by the New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness, where hundreds of experts agree that there is strong evidence supporting consciousness in all vertebrates.
Alrighty. What source they use for that?
Oh, this comes from the New York Declaration on Animal Consciousness and Live Science.
No, Live Science is a blog. What's the actual research? Put in the thing for us. I want to read. Send it to me on Facebook.
This came from Psychology Today.
Right.
Oh man. All right.
Smithsonian. They got a bunch of articles on it though.
Yeah.
They just did a study in Japan that showed a little fish, one of the cleaner fish, is showing not signs but saying but being self-aware. They were able to detect a little thing on their forehead, and they were trying to get it off. The little fish. Another
Yep.
study from Japan again. A dude, a little kid, 10 years old. He did an experiment. So he would take the caterpillars in their caterpillar stage, expose them to stimuli, right, an electrical impulse. It wouldn't hurt them, but at the moment they put them with the electrical stimuli, they would spray lavender. When they went into the cocooning phase and they emerged as adults, the adult butterflies stayed away from the lavender scent filled vials, and only attempted to get food from the other vials. So they remembered in their after their metamorphosis the effects. So memory in a caterpillar and butterfly has been proven. Memory. So go figure.
Yeah, that fish study was
I
interesting.
see that one right there. So did it happen within the same generation? Because some of that can happen within epigenetics, where like a rat can be born, can go through something, and that shit can be passed down on the genetic code, or that genetic switch, and passed down to the ancestors. So so that the generation next to it will have an aversion to it. So that can happen now. I like to see that different study. But I posted the one about the fish, so I'm aware of the fish. But look at the testing though with the fish, trying to remove something off of it, so like it realized, oh shit, this is me, nigga. Like what I got on me? Like what is on me? You know what I'm saying? That So that's another level. That's a whole other level with the fish.
Yeah. But I can see how stress can be an illusion, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Our brain's tricking us for survival. You know, so the cellular activity, you know what I'm saying, our quote unquote biological bodies, you know what I'm saying, it can just be a mechanism for survival. Like what Richard Dawkins about the selfish gene and all that, you know what I'm saying? They ain't even pushed the humans, you know, they starting to look at that, you know what I'm saying, like I said, chimps and other primates.
It's all in the game, brother. It's all in the game, bro. That's what I'm saying. You're not wrong to say that. That's why I can see it's all in the game. I understand. I wouldn't present it like it's the consensus. Like you just can't do that. You got like I don't. You know, you want to be forthcoming with everything. You know, hey, listen. Here's what they generally agree. Or hey, you know what? There's no consensus. Oh, bro, the consensus is this. So until they move past that, I'm done. So I'm saying that I just feel like that's more. It should be done that way. Otherwise, you know what I mean? You're gonna mislead people.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I see. Like I feel everybody, you know what I'm saying, it's in the middle, but I feel like, you know what I'm saying, whatever it is, it's like, that's based on my, you know, research and what I've been researching. It got to be something out of either, you know what I'm saying, the combination of neuroscience and biology, you know what I'm saying, the combination of them.
The idea itself is going to be just as tangible as consciousness. How you gonna get the other in philosophy? Truly.
Yeah.
Because we know the mechanism, or we have a good idea of the mechanisms, right? We got good evidence because we can see the mechanism happening. But you know, the mechanism alone is not.
It's not what?
Right? Like, describing how it is done. It does not necessarily describing what it is.
Huh? Yeah. I don't understand that.
Describing the mechanism doesn't necessarily like we say that consciousness, right, emerges from the brain, but we don't know what consciousness is.
Huh? That's incoherent. I don't understand what you're saying.
Do we know what Do we know what consciousness is? And newer
Yeah,
student,
your awareness, our awareness, and our
no,
ability
that's
to
not.
interact
I
with the
think
All
it's
right,
environment.
been
all right.
over.
I'm done.
What
I'm
is
done.
consciousness?
That's not what. That's the broadest definition of consciousness, Cedric.
Yeah, and yeah, no,
That's not what I'm talking about.
self-awareness is another aspect of it. Okay,
All
I'm
right,
still
all
not
right.
understanding. So but now we actually starting to map the mechanisms. And again, the analogy is as if that's the Cartesian dualism slip right back in. If the brain is doing a thing, and when I think about this thing, this is what is taking place. So we see the neurons firing, all this activity taking place, and at the same time, in my head, I have an image. That's the mechanism, and that's what it does. So, like the computer screen, we are seeing the interface. That's the image I have in my head. But behind there, those ones and zeros is actually what is producing that image. There is no image in there. There's no image in there. So that is a confusing part. If we are mapping how the brain produces memory, if we are mapping how the brain produces your speech, if you can have the brain produce the thought, map the thought that I'm having, what's missing? What's missing?
Yeah, I'm
That I don't get.
I can't do it on a show, but I'll just. I mean, if you're interested, I'm gonna just. We can do that. I can post fresh neuroscience that are saying we don't know what it is. Like, 'cause
Yeah.
maybe it's me. Maybe I'm explaining it wrong. So I'll take that. Maybe I'm explaining it wrong. But I'm not talking about awareness. That's not what we're talking about. The matter's not solved. Like I mean, goddamn, I've been reading like neuroscience shit. I love this shit. I've been trailing the conscious talk for years. It's not solved. So you gotta ask, what's not solved? They know the step. They know all the stuff. Nigga, we just did the brain show. Like I know the brain. I know the murder properties of it. But that's just the mechanisms.
Okay. And what do the mechanisms describe?
Like I said, maybe I'm explaining it wrong. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, bro. Maybe it's me, bro. Maybe I'm not explaining exactly what I'm saying. You misunderstanding me. So I
Yeah,
just leave it at
maybe because if you say we're explaining the mechanisms are what the thing is, and that's the disconnect. And I get where that disconnect is, and that disconnect is purely a philosophical one and not grounded in empiricism. In
I'm
empiricism, there is
neuroscience.
that
I'm
disconnect, isn't there?
neuroscience. All I read is neuroscience, bro. I'm not into philosophy.
Okay,
I don't know too much about what they talk about over there.
so again, I refer
Sam
to a
Harris,
neuroscientist.
Polsky, Joseph Ledoux. I'm those people, bro. I don't even do the other stuff. Steven Pinker, people like that, bro. I don't do nobody else. But like I said, maybe I'm explaining it wrong. So that's why I just leave it at that. Maybe because there's a disconnect there.
Yeah, I mean, I know the philosophical position, and again, yeah, we know how, but we don't know what it is, what the thing is. Okay, okay, we have exactly how these processes work. Emergent property of the brain. It emergent and it emergent by the firing of these neurons. That's the wall that is built. So I'm looking at the wall and saying, but what is the wall though?
That's what I'm
That's kind
saying.
of confusing.
Maybe you need to
At
hear
this point,
you need to hear that
when we
from
are now,
neuroscientists.
we are not out in the speculation no more. That we are no longer doing the whether it can be panpsychism, whether it can be dualism. When you're engaging in empiricism, neuroscience, these concepts are out. Boop, boop. So now I'm trying to figure if you have the mechanisms and you're exploring the mechanism, they're incomplete. We know that. All these things aren't mapped exactly how the processes work. So the mechanisms aren't complete, but we have an idea, and that's why we are looking in the area. They're doing the work we're doing. Every time map a particular phenomena. That is the thing, though. When you map how memory is retrieved, that is what it is. That the memory is produced by this process. I build a wall by taking these rocks and these blocks and I put them together and I got a wall. That's the same question about the university. I show you all the components, everything firing, and then you still ask me, but where's the university?
Yeah, we don't even have all the mechanisms yet. We're not even there yet, bro.
Yeah, no, that we agree.
We're not even
That
there
we
yet.
agree. The idea that a man can have full awareness without a frontal lobe is still got me perplexed. I still can't get that one. But that's why all these assumptions of how these parts of the brain actually work was outdated. We didn't really have a system of measuring it. An individual double lobotomized, with so he has no frontal lobe, right? A modern individual, and is completely still fully self-aware, right? Documented. So how explain that?
Yeah, so like I said, so it's not solved. Some scientists are optimistic. In other words, they think that, man, once we fully map out this brain, this thing will unravel just like other things have unraveled in science. And then
Yeah,
some
I
say,
must
well,
be
even
with
once you map the whole brain out, you're still not gonna get it. So there's just different
Yeah,
viewpoints within
those
the
are the
field.
philosophers. Yeah,
But
I
they
know the
haven't got there yet.
philosophers. Yeah.
But neither one has got there yet. They still, you know what I mean? We're just not there yet.
Yeah, I agree. We do not have the complete mechanisms. We don't have, again, like that example of the frontal lobe thing being thrown out, because an individual without a frontal lobe still have full self awareness. I know stroke experiences. You can be completely cognizant, but your mind somehow does not produce the letter A. You could read a sentence and all the A's are blank. How does the mind do that? We don't know, right? So these are the mechanisms that they are trying to figure out and working on. But beware of the philosophers who try to slip Cartesian dualism into the back door, and especially in these YouTube streets when they try to do that. That's what we gotta watch. Because what science ain't saying what y'all are trying to say though.
Yeah, consider different ideas. Some think we need better, we need better neuroscience. Right? And
Yeah, we
some are
always
saying no matter how good the neuroscience get, it's not going to solve it, or it may
yeah,
need
well,
another branch that we don't currently have.
I'm a hard materialist. I'm a hard physicalist. I'm an imperialist, and I'm gonna stick with the science that says, yeah, it ain't. When we're done with it, it's gonna be purely mechanistic, just like the
No, I always
subatomic
stick with the
world
science. I
operates
just don't
outside
move.
our
I always stick with the science. I just don't move past where they are. That's why when me and Uncle have a conversation, bro. When we get to the point where we say, "Hey, go, that's just still debated." Nigga, the conversation is over. We move on to something else. Oh, that's debated. All right, you bet. And we just drop it immediately, go on to something because we be arguing all day. We be
yeah.
debating what they're debating the science. No, we look crazy.
No, we ain't not debating the science. I'm clear I'm debating. There are
Yeah, so
those who have these metaphysical assertions when it comes to what consciousness is. And they insert panpsychism and all of this type of rhetoric into a modern conversation. That's null and void from a physicalist imperialist system. Neuroscience is grounded in methodological naturalism. So I gonna check you anytime you try to proposit something outside of the brain, like or suggest or hint towards dualism. I'm gonna shut you down. It's not a discussion. I don't care how much PhDs you have behind your name. I'm philosophically grounded enough to tell you that's some bullshit.
but I watched that conversation with him and Anil Seth, right? And the crazy thing is that, even when he said that he think that spirituality and because I finally got to that part, I only had seen clips, but that part is actually in that video. And they're talking about some of the fundamental philosophical stands within different religions. right? Not necessarily that's going to that they're talking about proving God, because even in L7 was like, I agree, and he talked about speaking to people, Buddhist people and Buddhist monks and Buddhism, and he is ending himself, and I forgot the little thing that he brought up, and he talked about what they talked about, but I forgot how he referred to something else. He get the name. It was an Indian name he had for it, but basically he was talking about a viewpoint, because they asked him, like, now that you're studying consciousness, right? Because there's two, right? Because you have a neuroscientist, and both of them neuroscientists talking about how their journey has changed the way they engage. Like, what does it change? And both of them thought about the same thing, had different ideas about spirituality. But even even Hoffman was like, but I'm also a scientist, and I have to also be hard nosed. So the both was like, yeah, we explore what we can explore within that stuff. Anything that we felt that's usable, we keep. Everything else we throw away. And Neil Seth even agreed with that part of it. So I think that part of the conversation kind of maybe been taken out of context. So, you know what I mean? But it's like, he talked about, like, it changed. Even we went outside today. I'm looking outside, tripping out, like, this shit is subjective to me. Like, that's crazy. That I'm seeing a world that really ain't as it is. You know what I'm saying? Like how you watch a damn one of them sci-fi movies, and then the screen change over, and the whole background different colors, and you know what I'm saying? It's like,
Bro, you never noticed that when they put a black light in the club, and you realize, wait a minute, my perception of reality is based on the light that I'm exposed to. It is the weirdest thing, bro. It is the weirdest thing to experience.
When they put that light in there, you can see all the germs and blood.
Yo, that is wild. Like, it is. And again, if you're just there partying, maybe you don't notice it. But think about it. The next time you experience that, realize that what you are visually engaging with is based on the spectrum of light that is available to you. Realize
Exactly. Imagine we seeing our world through echolocation and shit or something.
But imagine somebody else, another species, walking up and like, you don't see all this germs and bacteria and crawling around this, you know?
Oh yeah, they can see it, we can't see it.
we just believe all of it to the light change. It's like, yo, it's just disgusting. I'm laying on this.
A pit viper, for example. A pit viper registers heat signal. It doesn't have an idea how your face look, whether you're smiling, happy. It just registers heat signals. That's how it goes through life.
Yeah, and then like even certain new world monkeys in Americas, you got certain ones like it get like howler monkeys can see in color like we do, but like certain other species, the females can see in more colors, but the male can see in a limited amount of color.
Yeah. That's an this book I got called Flute.
Yo, Ced, I just posted something about animal consciousness in a Facebook back chat. If you want to pull it up, it's talking about what I've been saying about two-dimensional take instead of looking at it from a human-centric aspect as we tend to do.
I'm a human-centricist, Sabio. Just know that, Dick.
Yeah, I understand that. I think we all are.
That's my style, bro. Yeah.
Hey, I don't vaunt you for that. I think we all are. You feel me? But I'm just saying that when we had this conversation,
I am to an extent, you know what I'm saying? What a human is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It comes out. Yeah. But that's also, Sabio, why people feel like we shouldn't do it.
It's from
that's also, but listen, Sabio, that's also why people feel like we should not even do that when it comes to dogs, because we are human-centric. We can't help but place our shit on them, and we gonna miss things.
Right, and that's
looking for them to be human.
Yeah, let me speak to that. Let me speak to that aspect as a dog trainer. A lot of people, because of proximity to dogs, we often over anthropomorphize their behavior, right? They operate with a certain level of intelligence, right? And it is to navigate their world. But a lot of the time, things like agency, right? My dog did this because he wanted to get me angry. He was doing this because of. So they give all of these explanations that are very human, but has nothing to do with my understanding of dog behavior, right? And I go, okay, now, no, actually, we're going to do this, and you're going to see that the dog is going to do exactly X, Y, Z. And when they see that I said the dog does this based on the dog's behavioral patterns, right? This is within his range of behavior, thinking, and interaction. So I never place a canine's level of awareness or understanding or intent to the same level of as a human being. Right? Fight, flight, or fight response is something real in animals. What we've learned now is if you can get the animal out of that initial phase of flight, fright, they go through a process of downloading information in that environment. So yes, you can have a king cobra that is completely sentient, aware of you as its handler, know that you don't pose a threat, and be completely like docile. But another individual comes that they don't have that relationship with, they will revert to the flight or fight response, right? So there's a fine balance. Animals are not mindless machines like we thought. There is a degree of awareness there, and in varying aspects, high levels of self cognition to minimal, right? So we need to analyze and take every situation in its own account. But what we have fundamentally moved away from, and Sosa knows that long time, is that we do not see animals as simple mindless killing machines and quote unquote pure instinct. No, they develop skills. They have cognitive ability. They are relating and engaging with their environments in real time, right? Uh, you see the spatial awareness with dogs. If you train dogs, you understand that they develop spatial awareness very quickly, like very like stay out of my space, like they develop that awareness. But it is something that you train and condition. But they have that cognitive ability. But it is not self awareness to the point that they go through an existential crisis, for example, or
Right.
we
That's
we
why
have.
chimps are like scary because you're looking at a chimp that's so close to you see the difference. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, this nigga
Yeah,
thinking about some shit like I'm thinking about some shit.
yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? He's thinking deceit, deception. You know what I'm saying? It's like that's a
Mhm.
whole nother a whole nother level. Like, you feel me? Like it's another step up. You hear me? Fair play ain't no like, hold on, bro, you cheating me. You know what I'm saying? Like, why he getting that? All right, I see what it is. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, that's a whole you feel like shit. Seems a whole nother level, bro. But yeah.
yeah,
But good
yeah,
show. But like I said, I like. I'm gonna get to the space time conversation. Be cool. The
yeah.
consciousness
That
stuff, that
that's
shit's
gonna be fun.
draining, bro. Like that'll say it's just uh, it's fun for a while, and then it's like that shit drains you, bro.
Yeah, especially if you're um crossing philosophical boundaries back and forth and create muddying the water with the conversation, right? Let the scientists do their work, and once they got it figured out, they'll let us know.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna continue next week going through the philosophy of mind, and you can see there is a necessity for these ideas and a hunger for these conversations. So we're gonna have we go into a functionalism, panpsychism. I'm doing the work. I'm gonna get busy tonight preparing to tomorrow's episode. because we go right back into the philosophy of mind. To have these conversations coherently, I think we should ground ourselves in this concept, right? Like my good brother, the owl character. You come up with quantum oneness, but in your initial sentence, in your initial statement, you are illustrating panpsychism. That's an established philosophical framework, right? There was a moment when you're going through the
Yeah,
process.
because go through psychism, though, so that you can't just, the natural audience don't understand what panpsychism is. You got to start with an explanation of
Yeah,
what
yeah, yeah,
panpsychism is,
yeah.
how it
So that's
started,
why, yeah,
what
that's
is
why I'm doing the show.
idealism, what is
Yeah,
monoism.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
like
why I'm doing the philosophy of mind shows. That's what the
you
point I'm
can't just
doing.
jump out there and talk about
Yeah.
panpsychism. People don't know
Yeah,
what the
so
hell's
I'm,
doing.
I'm seeing it in his text, but there's where the being philosophically not grounded, right? You think that you thought this up, like um intelligent design or creationism, right? Or the God did it concept. All of us come up with that idea by ourselves at some point. Man, listen, nature operates the way it does, but it's because God wants it that way, right? We've all had that thought process, and then when you go and look it up, it's a philosophical framework that already exists. Like we don't really come up with a lot of new concepts. It's just reframing old ideas, right? 'Cause
Yeah,
especially
because
if
within
you're
the framework of panpsychism, they do deal with like proto consciousness. They believe like
Mhm.
levels of it. Like I said, it's
in,
panpsychism is
information theory is a fun one.
yeah, you know what I mean. They just got
Information.
levels. They believe like content exists on little levels. Like a worm might have a little bit of content. You know what I'm saying? And then they go up the ladders to
Yeah.
humans. You know what I'm saying?
So
So,
yeah,
but yeah,
we're
yeah,
gonna
I'm slide
continue
out though.
to.
But good show. I'm slide out. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you for jumping in. We're going
All
to
right.
continue to break these philosophical frameworks down, what they are, and stuff like that. Tomorrow, we're going to get into, I think we're going to be dealing with Chalmers' art problem of consciousness. And we're going to have a talk about what those philosophical frameworks are, those philosophical ideas. Again, today, we were supposed to have a conversation with Cosmon Cal because you want to debate Oashpe science, but no, bro, that subject is something we just have a conversation about. It's not rooted in anything empirical. It's not rooted in anything real, right? It comes out of 19th century pseudoscience ideas, and it is simply not warranted or needed in our environment today. Yeah. Yeah, let me see here. Humans develop fundamental subconscious and unconscious brain processing long before conscious awareness. Facts. Again, humans don't pass the mirror test around 18 months of age. Huh? Many animals that can demonstrate cognitive abilities beyond a typical 18-month-old child is as conscious, aware of itself as any other primate. I agree. We are starting to redefine what we consider self-awareness in animals. We are examining how we define awareness, self-awareness. If you look at how animals engage in their environment, especially if you just take a step back and watch how they problem solve, watch how they navigate and negotiate with their environment, flight or
Bingo.
flight response, the awareness of my mortality, right? There must be a reason why I need to run from that lion, right? Peril, pain, death. That takes a certain level of awareness, right? Self-awareness and preservation of self. Their inability to express thoughts in a way that is coherent to us has put us in a position where we um, looked at animals or ourselves as separate. Human exceptionalism is at the root of a lot of these philosophical ideas, right? and we are re-examining a lot of these concepts. Again, you see the work that is done with reptiles and their level of cognition and understanding, right? Is it's next level. It truly is, and it's breaking down these barriers. We are observing interspecies communication and relationships, right? Not that one animal has the other as a pet, but we see ducks and koi's working together to provide nourishment for themselves. So the world reality is far more fascinating than fantasy. We do not need to be making stuff up to engage with reality. We are in a modern framework where methodological naturalism is the standard by which means our knowledge is acquired. Anything proposing or claiming to be knowledge will be ultimately passed through that same exact filter and rubric, right? And that's where a lot of these ideas come up wanting. The conscious community, my good friend Al, you said you just found it, is not a place where you just make stuff up. Scholarship is not my ability to think up something and put it on paper. That's not scholarship. Scholarship is a peer review process. Scholarship is within the framework of methodological naturalism, right? That's what provides us with new data. We know PhDs, and though once you hit the masters and the PhD level, now you're contributing to new knowledge because now you're working on the frontier. um, Us out here that go to libraries or online and gather resources and reframe ideas into a new package is not nothing new. It's not new information. You're not helping the community move forward. Um, it's That's all about your ego, your desire to think that you can contribute something new sitting from your home chair. Like, no, that's simply not how it worked. Those days are over. The Phil Valentines and the Bobby
Yeah.
Hemmings and the Layla Ali's and these people, those days are simply over. That's not gonna get rooted and take hold in this community anymore. That's just not happening. Shout out to Issa Queen. You got completely dismantled. Your irrational position, and you're arguing from ignorance. That is the weirdest thing ever. You mask your ignorance with arrogance, but you were completely and thoroughly exposed today. So I think that's it. Where the blackology thingy from the bomb squad was concerned. Now all aspects of that have been put to rest. Pseudo killers, community of skeptics, continuing to do our work in this community. Shout out to Sabio. Sabio, your contribution is always welcome, my brother. And as you go, that refinement in presenting your position, it's a learning curve. We all go through it. Again,
No,
if you have not checked out the Chimp Wars on the Pseudo Killers channel, you are missing out on one of the most epic presentations done on this channel by any of us. Shout out to Gullah. All right, go watch that. Go watch that. Get.
Yeah, right on,
It is
man.
going to ground you so much in a different understanding. I think I'm going to tell you this: when he opened up and talked about Frida, I think, and her children, man, that was it. I was locked in. Her children, yes,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
those are her children. Think about it.
Yeah.
Chimpanzee, her children.
Even when you read primatology work, they refer to chimpanzees' offspring. They say children. You know what I'm saying, all the time. They refer to them as
Yes,
their
sir.
children.
Yes, sir, man. That was, I mean, epic production. He took his time putting it together. I was honored. But when you coming? When you coming? And of course, when he brought it full circle. That stuff deserves an Emmy in these YouTube streets. Unfortunately, our channel's a little bit too small, but I hope that gets the attention it needs. Right? Share that with your family, with your friends. Watch that show. Join the Pseudokillas Army. Become a part of the war against a scientific illiteracy. You see the philosophical concepts we're dealing with. We catching these characters quicker, faster, and more efficient as they pop up with their cult framing. Oashpe, you're done. Get up on out of here. Kosmon this, Kosmon that. You've been exposed. The game is up. The gig is up. Sabio, any last words closing before we get out of here?
Nah, I'ma just give shout out to you, for those who fully understood what I was actually saying about consciousness. It wasn't trying to put dogs on our level of consciousness or anything like that. It was just making sure that people understand that I'm talking about nature and the things that are natural in the world. If we are the only things that's conscious, then how do the other animals that exist navigate the world? What do we define that as? Is that just sentience?
Yeah, that's my argument as well. Thank you. Again, this Sunday platform, Sabio, this is your home. You're always welcome for this platform. You got free range, bro. This is where we get to chop their head off. This is Pseudokillas Sunday School. Orlando Catarini. When we can expect something epic again, my bro?
I'm probably working on something next week. I'm gonna slide something in next week. I might just do some go in on, since we're talking about self-awareness and conscience. I might just go in on non-human animal conscious. So do a little something on that.
Yeah. Appreciate that. You see how we operate over here holistically. When we get on a subject, we approach it from all aspects. We discuss things out in the public. We tell you what we know, what we don't know. We're not scared to be wrong. We put philosophical positions out there. It's what we do. These are the discussions we like having. People want to have them. So we're going to have them in honesty and with a framework of methodological naturalism, because again, that is the epistemic regime that we're under, and that's how we ground our reality. With that, I'm like to thank you all for being here, and see y'all in the next one.
Case file, open your Bible, turn to chapter and verse. Let's see what it really says. Let it to work. I went down to the garden to see what I could find, but I brought a cold scalpel for the architecture of the mind. They told me just they said don't ask why, but I'm looking for the engine in the middle of the sky. I'm massaging the text till the ghosts start to fade, applying the rigor in the light of the blade. No more circular blocks, no more holy disguise, just the natural right before my eyes.
Black African power. What's good? What's happening? A well-organized lie. A well-organized lie. Defeats a disorganized truth every time. For who we?
A pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sun sling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sun sling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sun sling, hey. Pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sun sling, hey. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sun sling, people with the scholarship salute, we give them kudos. But the people with that look of shit, we look and see straight through those like telescope. If you ain't speaking fast, we gotta tell them folks and let them know the truth of. You bringing malinformation to blast, then you the Ku Klux. Like say, don't talk me to death, bro, what the proof of? Good juju chillin', why you wanna go way bad juju up? Shalom boy got the tank in the cut. I'm in Sosa world plotting on the kick though with Kent. Come in Tiffany gave me the pseudo names on the list and said went and got the low. Anthony got him in the scope, Gullah and Gozy. Make sure DNA ain't a problem for them folks, cause a pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. Pseudo gon' die, they saw us. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy. I'm a pseudo killer, intellectual sunsling, ayy.
We're not attacking individuals. We're attacking the information and attacking the methodology. This is long time coming right here. Let them know that we right there, running neck and neck with all other communities. We will not be left behind.
Hi, thank you for joining us. We appreciate your support. Like, share and subscribe to the Pseudokillas and community of skeptics. Thank you.